Let's be honest for a second. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you didn't recognize the person staring back? I'm not talking about the wrinkles or the gray hair. I'm talking about that strange, heavy feeling that the real version of your life was supposed to have started by now. Most of us grow up with this invisible map in our heads. We thought that by 30 or 40, we'd have it all figured out. We'd have the perfect career, the perfect home, and that unshakable sense of arriving. But then, one Tuesday afternoon, you stop and look around and you realize you're just here. And the person you imagined you'd be feels like a complete stranger who lives in a different world. This is where the panic starts. It's the crisis of the middle. It's that quiet voice at 3 a.m. whispering that you're late. Late for what? You don't even know exactly. But you feel like all the important doors are closing, the music is stopping, and everyone else got the manual for life while you're still stuck reading the introduction. Society calls this a midlife crisis and makes jokes about fast cars or sudden life changes.
But in truth, it is a profound human ache, born from the collision with the finality of time.
It's the moment you realize that someday is no longer a far-off land, and you have to deal with the reality of who you are right now. If you feel like you've missed the train, or like you're failing at a game you didn't even know you were playing, take a breath. You aren't broken, and you aren't a failure. You're just standing at a crossroads that no one taught us how to navigate. In this video, we're going to talk about why this happens, why the world makes it feel so much worse, and how to find meaning in the life you actually have instead of mourning the one you didn't get.
Imagine for a moment that inside your mind there's a secret room, a gallery you visit when you can't sleep. I call it the Museum of Lost Versions. On these walls, you keep the portraits of all the people you were supposed to become. There's the version of you that traveled the world with nothing but a backpack. There's the version that became a famous musician, or the one that started a billion-dollar company. At 20, these versions felt like promises. You had what philosophers call infinite potential. You could be anything, so in your head, you were everything. But life is a series of choices, and every time you choose a path, every time you take a specific job, move to a specific city, or commit to a specific person, you have to kill off 100 other versions of yourself. By the time you reach the middle of your life, you aren't just one person, you are the survivor of all the lives you didn't lead. The pain of the midlife crisis isn't usually about what we have. It's about the grief for what we lost. We look at our real life, with its bills, its routines, and its quiet struggles, and we compare it to the flawless, glowing ghosts in our museum. We forget that those versions of us never had to deal with reality. They never got tired. They never failed. They stayed perfect because they never existed. We spend so much time mourning these lost versions that we stop noticing the person who actually made it through, the one who is standing here, right now, breathing and surviving. You are the only version of you that is actually real. And it's hard to love the real you when you're constantly looking at a ghost.
Let's cut the metaphors. You know that hollow feeling in your stomach when you open your phone and see someone your age doing better than you? It doesn't matter that you know their photos are filtered or their life is a mess behind the scenes. In that moment, the lizard brain doesn't care about logic. It only sees one thing: you are losing. We've turned life into a spectator sport where we are constantly comparing our behind-the-scenes footage with everyone else's best-of highlights. We compare our 3 a.m. doubts with their 10 a.m. filtered victory. It's an unfair fight. It's like trying to win a race where everyone else is allowed to skip the parts where they fall down. But the real poison isn't the envy. It's the conclusion we draw from it. We decide that because we haven't reached certain milestones by a certain date, we have fundamentally failed at being an adult.
We treat life like a checklist, and if we haven't checked financial freedom or perfect family by the time we're 30-something, we feel like a glitch in the system. We need to stop asking, how far behind am I, and start asking, whose race am I actually running? Because most of the pressure you feel isn't coming from your own needs. It's coming from an algorithm designed to make you feel inadequate, so you'll keep searching for a solution you don't need. You aren't falling behind. You're just exhausted from running in a direction you never chose in the first place.
Think about the way we were taught to view life. It was always a ladder. Step 1, school. Step 2, career. Step 3, status. We were promised that if we just kept climbing, we'd eventually reach some magical plateau where everything makes sense. But the ladder is a lie. Real life isn't a straight line up. It's a messy, unpredictable walk through a dark woods. You will take wrong turns. You will hit dead ends. You will sometimes have to walk backward just to find a path that actually works. And in our culture, we call these moments failures or wasted time. But what if the time you spent failing was actually the only time you were learning something real? We treat a career change at 35 or a divorce at 40 like a catastrophe, like we've reset our progress to zero. But you aren't a video game character. You don't reset. You carry every mistake, every detour, and every heartbreak with you as perspective. The straight line is for machines and spreadsheets. Humans are circular. We repeat patterns until we learn. We spiral around truths, and we grow in directions that don't always look like up. Stop apologizing for the detours. The detour is often where the actual life happens, while everyone else is too busy staring at the next step of a ladder that leads to nowhere. We've been taught that grief is reserved for the living who leave us. But there is a quieter, more suffocating kind of grief, the mourning of your own potential. It's the realization that some doors aren't just closed, they are gone. The version of you that was supposed to change the world, or the one that was supposed to find perfect love by 25, those people don't exist. And yet, we carry their ghosts around like a heavy, invisible weight. The hardest part of any crisis isn't the reality of who you are. It's the refusal to let go of who you were supposed to be. We stay stuck because we think that if we just hold on long enough, we can somehow resurrect those dead dreams. But you cannot build a home in a cemetery. You cannot start a new life while you are still obsessed with the funeral of your old fantasies. Grieving your potential isn't a sign of defeat. It's a necessary act of clearing the ground. It's saying, that life didn't happen, and that's okay. Because until you stop looking at the person you aren't, you will never see the person you've actually become. And that person, the real, breathing, scarred version of you, is the only one capable of building a future that actually exists.
The midlife crisis isn't an ending, it's a calibration. It's the moment the autopilot fails and you are forced to take the controls yourself. Yes, you are older. Yes, some options are gone, but you have something now that you didn't have at 20. You have depth. You have the ability to distinguish between what looks like success and what actually feels like peace. The second half of your life isn't about collecting more trophies. It's about stripping away everything that isn't you. It's about realizing that you don't have to become anyone anymore. You just have to be who you already are. And that is more than enough. So take a look at the stranger in the mirror one more time. They might not be who you expected. They might be tired, and they might have some regrets.
But they are still here. And as long as you are here, the story is still being written.
The best chapters often start after the character thinks they've lost everything. Thank you for watching Pancakes and Paradoxes. Until next time, look up.